And before I answer your questions, what I want to say is I was the biggest skeptic about intuition and energy work. So I didn't understand what intuition was, what energy was. I believe because I had just been around trauma and chaos since I was born. And I mean that since I was born. My mom was an unwed teenager going to a Catholic school, getting kicked out of the Catholic school because of being pregnant with me. And I almost died when I was born. So we know that when our nervous system is overwhelmed, we really can't tap into that intuition. Okay, so I'm going to answer these questions today, and then I'm going to tell you some stories. Okay, and I'm going to use this first question. Let's see. So this question I'm actually going to start with this one from Will. It's, how do I know when I'm feeling intuition? Okay, so let me just start there. Okay. Most of you that are in here very much know what anxiety is. But what happens is that when we have spent a lot of hours, when we've clocked a lot of hours in anxiety, which in a way practices anxiety. Okay. What I know to be true about highly sensitive people is you get a real comfort zone with anxiety. When I'm working with highly sensitive people individually, often what will happen is I'll say, hey, how do you feel today? Or we just did something. Okay, how do you feel right now? And when they don't feel anxious, this is what I get. I don't know. I'm not anxious. It's as if we've picked up the anxiety lens and lived through it and looked through it so often in our lives that when we take that lens off, we're very puzzled. Like, we know all the words of the feelings, but we're very puzzled when we take that anxiety away. And to be able to hone into your intuition, we've got to understand the difference between anxiety and intuition. And when I go into these explanations, okay, I'm coming from a place of really teaching you about intuition in the way that I think is safe and reasonable. And for me, I have met a lot of narcissists, potentially sociopaths, that are very, very, very drawn to saying that they're empaths or that they're energy workers, or that they are intuitive experts. Okay. So when I'm teaching you about this stuff, what I want to say is part of the work is practicing using your intuition and then the discernment of the mind as you allow different people to guide you and to teach you. Now, I know this about myself, but you can have hunches about this, but you can't really know this about me because you're not in my personal life. I know that a lot of you are here on Patreon and choose to work with me and listen to the show because your intuition feels that I am being honest with you and real, and that there's something inside of you that feels safe hearing me speak on different topics. Even if I get fired up, even if I'm confronting like hard, there's something in you that says, yes, I need this. When I'm talking to people who found me from the show, all of you did, most of you did if you didn't know me before the show, almost universally people say to me, I listened to the show and I couldn't stop. I sat down and cried and I just knew I needed more. That knowing is intuition. That part of you that whether it was my show or whatever it is in the world, when you see a quote online and something in you goes, yes, that is for me. Yes, that. Yes. Or no, that's not for me. And the best way that I can teach it to you is by telling you what it feels like to me. And I believe that it's similar, but maybe a little different inside of the physicality and the bodies of each of us as highly sensitive people. Jenna says, listen to your bullshit meter. Yes, we all have this bullshit meter. The struggle is, if I use the term bullshit, I grew up with people who had a lot of bullshit. What do you think that did to my meter? It kind of fried it.